Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's session of video about genealogy and things interesting. My name is Beth K. Freeman, and here it is. This is my email, and you're very welcome to email me and ask me questions or give me ideas or whatever you'd like to do. bethscribble@aol.com. Bethscribble simply means that I write and I paint, and scribble covers everything. Simple. Also, I do a publication called Beth's Newfangled Family Tree, which is free. No strings attached. All you have to do is come to the address, which is https://electricscotland.com/BNFT for Beth's Newfangled Family Tree. The archives are there as well, and you can play for hours and hours and hours because there's about 15 or 16 years of archives right there for you to enjoy, okay? Today, first, we're going to learn where the saying comes from, all that glitters is not gold. I'm sure every single one of us has had some experience in our lives that we've thought about this. Similar to the grass is always greener on the other side, the idea here is that things may appear nice from a distance, but the reality is often not what you thought it would be. While the notion has been around for a long time, the original comes to us from the bard himself. Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, which was written in 1596, has the line as, "All that glistens is not gold." So, we've both learned something today. Also, sooner or later, genealogists stumble across an illegitimate ancestor. I have one myself, and I don't think we'll ever know the difference. I am a Donald, and I won't name the fella, but one of the 7 chiefs of Clan Donald and I look more alike than brother and sister or anybody else. We just look alike. And we also have a lot of other things in common. And I know him, and he's a delightful fella, but I still haven't been brave enough to tell him that I think that I am an illegitimate relative of his. But old parish registers often reveal the information about illegitimate ancestors. There were various ways of expressing illegitimacy, some of them in Latin. Ignotus, Ignotus, means unknown. I studied French in school. I did not study Latin. Oops. So I don't know how to pronounce these, and I can't remember anything but la peine est sur la table, which is bad. But anyway, so records sometimes say nomine ignoto, meaning the father's name was just unknown. Filius populi means son of the people. This reference in English records often covers cases where the father was known to be a local man, but might be one of 2 men. Oops. It also can mean that the father was anybody's guess. Filius nullius means son of none. This terminology was used in cases where the father was a stranger in that parish, or the mother couldn't or wouldn't say who he was. There are tiny clues to be found in parish records, so this is another reason for you to copy everything that you do exactly. If you find a record that reads something like Johannes Filius Maria Jones at Reputat de Johnny Smith, it translates to John, son of Mary Jones, and by repute of John Smith. What that means is either the father admitted paternity or that paternity had been proven. But if the records read Johannes Filius Maria Jones et imputitat de Johann Smith, it means the mother claimed that the father was John Smith, but he wouldn't admit it, or else the case had not been settled. Other terms you may run into are ut furter, meaning as it is said or believed if you like, and dictus or pria dictus, meaning the said aforesaid man. Voctus means called or known as. A common way of showing illegitimate paternity in English records was to give a child his father's full name and his mother's surname. The idea was that if the couple married later, the mother's surname would be dropped. Knowing about the use of double surnames for illegitimate children is very useful for genealogists, but in genealogy there are always exceptions. In London, Lancashire, Yorkshire, and among nonconformists, the use of a complementary second surname from the mother's family, the pastor, or a rich uncle, came into vogue in the early 1800s. Came into use in the early 1800s and again in the later Victorian period. If you discover a reference to John Jones Smith and it occurs anywhere but in a recognized gentry family before about 1840 in England, it should alert you to the possibility of illegitimacy. But remember the exceptions. In the late 19th century, the English sometimes used hyphenated surnames, such as Armstrong-Jones, but for reasons of ancestral snobbery, not illegitimacy. So when researching English records, remember this popularity of double surnames in particular localities and time periods for other reasons than the marital status of the child's parents before assuming that an ancestor was illegitimate. Okay, have I confused you enough today? Sorry. I promise not to confuse you again next week. Hope you've had a nice time. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.